Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to this episode of the Auto Detailing Podcast. I'm Jimbo, and I'm really excited because it's been a while since I actually had a interview episode, but I'm super excited for this one. We have Kevin back with Tropical Breeze Auto Spa. He is in Charlotte, North Carolina, and if you're watching the video, you can see he's cruising along in his van right now. So, Kevin, I appreciate you coming on the show again and taking the time out of your busy day.
Well, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
It's actually my favorite when people are like in the middle of working or in the middle of their day, in the middle of their job. And I remember so often being right where you are in my van and just having a podcast idea and, thinking, oh, I'll just, I used to call it my mobile recording studio. So uh, I love it. I love it. But tell us what's been going on.
It's funny. Before I start, so we started Tropical Breeze about 6 years ago. And when I first started getting into detailing full time, I would make it a habit every day listen to at least one episode or one tip of yours a day. And I would have
Love
my
it.
employees in the car, and it would kind of motivate them, and that worked a lot. So I appreciate that, and
Awesome.
always telling myself, hey, one day I want to be one of those guys, getting interviewed on that podcast. So I
Here we are.
appreciate what you've done and how you've helped me, and I'm pretty sure other detailers out there, stay motivated, stay believing in ourselves, believing in our industry, and I just want to thank you for that.
You got it, man. It's so awesome, and a lot of people reach out and they say just that, like, one day I hope to come on your show, and I'm like, man, let's do it. Like, of course, let's do it. Let's get a story behind it, and because I know that it's so encouraging for other people listening, it's freaking encouraging for me, to see where people have grown to, where they're at, and it helps keep me motivated. And I really do think kind of the collective. The collective group all together hearing these stories really helps, because so I know I did for sure. I always felt like kind of out on my own island of like, man, I'm doing
Yeah,
this like detailing thing. It's mobile. I'm by myself, and I think I'm doing good, but I don't really know if I'm doing good. And I have no one to not that I'm trying to compare, but like I have
yeah,
I've,
we
no one to
level up.
like, yeah, I have no idea what's going on. And so, especially with people all over the world, it's really cool to, just kind of be able to gauge where you're at and then use that as motivation to kind of correct or assess or tips and tricks. And so
Yep,
it's been amazing, man. I love it.
agreed. Yeah, so how do you wanna go about this interview?
Tell
Just
us,
roll out questions. Or,
let's just tell us why detailing. You had a move in there a little bit long ago, so a lot of detailers end up moving their businesses. A lot of people in the military start detailing for side money, so they're bouncing around a little bit, and so they have questions about kind of moving around. But let's just kind of tell everyone your story and how it started, where you're at, and how you got there.
so started about 6 years ago. I'm actually a registered respiratory therapist. I've been doing that for about 8 years. But the last 2 years of my profession, I wanted something different. I kind of wanted to work for myself and be my own boss. And yeah, working at the hospital, having a good paying job, was cool and all, but I wanted more. And one of my friends, and I guess you could say now he's a mentor, owns one of brick and mortar car wash in Miami. And I asked him, I picked his brain, and I asked him, how did he get started? Like, how does one get started and get to own a brick and mortar car wash? How does that happen? How do you get the land? How do you get the equipment? How do you even get the opportunity? And he just told me back in the 1980s, he started with mobile car wash. That's how he started back in the 80s. He was probably one of the first mobile car washers out there. So then, I just did my due diligence and started looking around for schools, like how to train how to, detail the car professionally. Because, everybody knows how to wash a car. Everybody has washed their car before. Not a lot of people like doing it, but I just did, some research, and I saw that there's actually good money out there. I'm like, wow, I didn't know that there's
Mhm.
actually money in this industry. You know, if you're not in the industry, you're just thinking. If you're not in the industry, you're just thinking, hey, $25 car wash, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and you're out of there. But then we said, oh, detail. This is detail. Dollars. Wow, that's more than what some people make in 2 days, 3 days, a week, depending on who you're comparing yourself to. So I went ahead and found this school, Right Look, out in San Diego, California, and I went over there and did their week's detailing course, and I came back, and I was so eager to start. I'm like, I didn't have a van, I didn't have anything, so I was actually detailing. I went to Home Depot and bought a pressure washer, and bought some stuff off of Auto Geek and AutoZone, and just went and started to detail all my French cars and all my cars. I would say, hey, detail your car. Let me just practice. Some people would give me a tip, or some people would ask me how much, and I'll give them a price, and they'll do it. And just from there, I thought to myself, okay, what if I'm gonna make this a professional and a serious business? What do I want to be? What kind of details do I want to be? Do I want to be the average guy doing the average cars? Do I want to keep doing that, or do I want to be the upper echelon doing the exotic cars? So I said, all right, like anybody else, let me start off with the Hondas, the Kias, the dirty, soccer mom vans, because that's how you get, you got to pay your dues in this industry.
Totally.
So I'm pretty sure it's the same type of story. And then once you master your craft, then you level up and you go to the Beamers, Mercedes, and then after that, I just handed out my business cards to everybody. Anybody with a nice car, I would hand out my business cards to. And at the gym, it's kind of crazy because I kind of seemed like a stalker, but it was kind of like, all right, I seen him pull up in a Lamborghini at the gym. Let me go ahead and see how close I can get to him, whether it's working out right next to him and just sparking a conversation. Like, hey, nice car. Who details it for you? And I just started having a line that I would just go ahead and just shoot to everybody and give them my business cards and cross my fingers, hope they call back. And I guess I did that to a Miami Dolphin player at a basketball game. And I said, hey, listen, here's my card. If you shout me out on Instagram or I'll wash your car for free. And that was a blessing in disguise because 2-3 weeks later, he calls me to wash the car. He reposted me. And after that, all his teammates called me.
Did you know, sorry to interrupt real quick, did you know he was a professional player, or was it just the car that you were going after?
I knew
okay.
But all that, I guess, practice that I had with the locals in my neighborhood,
Gotcha.
I knew
Got it.
what, how to approach
you had
it,
gone up to enough people to know what opposition you may come across, how to approach it. You had kind of taken that feedback and kind of, dealt with it. So you knew when the opportunity came, you knew the right things to say. You know what? That is such a good point, I think, of like, and you mentioned it too, like, you got to cut your teeth on these lower end cars, I guess you could call them, or whatever. And people want to make that jump to these luxury cars right away. But to your point of like, if you don't cut your teeth, you don't know what to say when you get the opportunity, right? Or you may not even be able to see the opportunity, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So that's a great little tip right there of like, don't be, and another thing that you said that I'm a huge fan of and I talk about all the time on the show is free work, right? You didn't ask him, hey, let me wash your car and you could pay me. You're like, hey, let me do it for free. Let me show you. Sure, you want to repost, whatever, but you made the barrier to entry with him nothing to him, right? You just got to post or whatever, and he could post on his story if he wanted, like whatever. It's not a big deal.
Exactly. We're posting all day, every day. So it doesn't cost me anything to repost something that
it actually gives him content to post. So it helps him both ways, right?
And then that ended up being like a blessing in disguise because after that, the actual team, Miami Dolphins team, contacted me and wanted to do a partnership with me. And I'm at the hospital getting this phone call. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, it's game time. Now I have to make a decision. do I leave the hospital? That I have a career, and do I just bet on myself and gamble and just go out there and jump out there, or do I do full time? I mean part time, and just take it like a hobby. And me, I'm like, you know what?
All in.
I'm jumping all in, and that's what I did. It was actually 6 months before COVID actually hit United States, so things kind of worked out. The best. I was in the hospital when COVID started. I was dealing with my thing. Yeah, and then from there, word got around, and a couple Miami Heat basketball players end up calling me, and then I became friends. And over the years, it just got handed down, and I end up becoming the professional athlete's detailer. Topical Breeze, was the one to go if you're a professional athlete and you need your cars detailed. And then from there, I expanded out my services. Went to Expel training, got trained and certified with window tinting and paint protection film, and now I'm jumping into vinyl wrap. So that's just how it is, how it started and how it's going now. Some personal reasons I made the move out the shop and had to basically restart everything. And it was a challenge, but it's a fun challenge. And I'm basically I'm at where I left off in Miami with the high-end clients, basketball players, football players, and it's just on autopilot right now.
Dang. So to go back real quick, and then I want to jump to how you kind of, because it seems like you got to the peak, you got to the pinnacle of where so many people want to be, and then had to maybe not start over, but use the knowledge that you had and move to a completely different state. But when the Dolphins contacted you as an organization, what did they want you doing? What did they have you doing? Was it, what were their needs?
They just wanted me to provide the service that we provide every Friday while the Dolphin players were practicing. We would, as a company, would literally go there to the practice facility. We can actually see them practice, and we'll wash their cars as
Got
they
it.
practice.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
okay. Got it.
every home game Friday, so they play on Sundays for the majority of the part. So every time they're at home, that weekend, that Friday would be detailed car wash day, and I would go over there with the team and knock them out. And the ones that I know personally, I would just go to their house and do it there. But the new rookies or the people
Got
that don't have
it.
home, they live in apartment complexes, and you can't wash in the garage.
Dang.
We'll do it over. Yeah.
Dang. So then when you made the move to Charlotte, what did you try to use that the leverage that you already had with those pro players to connect with anyone in Charlotte, or
it worked because I had content and a few resources, but I kind of just the same way where it's like, hey, now I'm confident in what I do and what I've done. So now it's kind of like, hey, you need me. You need Topical Breeze. You need this. If you have a car, you need us. I didn't care who,
right. You had the
or,
confidence.
yeah. I don't care who's now. I have next. It's like one of those things. Hey, you need me. I need you. Let's make this work. And then it's just been working.
Wow. So I think that's, there's one thing that I did a podcast about moving your detailing business and all that, but just kind of the one thing I think is so important to remember, whether you're moving or whatever you're doing, is that the one thing you can never lose is the knowledge, right? And that's kind of, I think what you're saying is you brought the same knowledge that you had in Miami. It really didn't matter probably where you moved, right? It would just happen to be North Carolina, and you just use the same knowledge that you already had. But then you pile on top of that the confidence of like, you need me. I know what, and I think that's such a huge another takeaway. And it's something that people lack, I think, a lot of like, people really do need and want your service, and once it's, I guess it's hard for people to get to that point of realizing that. But I think once you do, it's like, man, open up the floodgates, like, and then once you're confident, it's like the best snowball ever of like, I'm confident I can charge a lot.
And I want to put this, I'm sorry to cut you off. I just want to put this
No, you're good.
the new or amateur detailers out there, when I say that, when we say, and you probably can agree with me, when we say that, hey, uh, you need me, it's not like boasting and bragging that we're the best detailer. I never claimed
Right.
to be the best of it, but just the fact that you need someone, when you're a new detailer or have a new detail company, you don't only want to bring exceptional work and the best you can do and best that you can be, but you also want to have that customer service where it's like you need someone that's going to take
100%.
that stress of you getting your car cleaned, or you just want to help them, whether it's a professional athlete or just a regular 9 to 5 person. You just want to alleviate some of that stress and take on some of that responsibility of washing their car, or getting one of their chores handled for them, where they don't have to think about it. You understand what I'm saying? That's when I say you
100%.
need as a mobile detailer or anything, any automotive provider, service provider.
Well,
That's
and,
what I
and
mean
then
when
look
I
what you're doing too. You're branching out to film, to window tint, to wraps now, because you already have the clientele. You realize the needs. It's a plug and play ordeal, right?
and it all ties in one. And what I realized that a lot of clients, they just want a company that they can trust. You understand what I'm saying? They want
Yes.
someone that's not gonna try to get over on them, and that can handle everything. It all ties in together. If someone really cares about their car and wants it detailed monthly, bi-weekly, 9 times out of 10, they want to have some tint on their car. 9 times out of 10, they want to protect their investment. So they want that ceramic coating. They want that paint protection film. And it only behooves us as detail installers or business owners to have all that, be an all-in-one stop,
Yep.
stop.
Yep.
Thing, if I'm saying
Yep.
that right. All stop.
One stop shop.
Stop. There you go. All in one stop shop. There you go. That's what
Yep.
I'm saying.
I love that. And man, just a total another nugget of you've become the trustworthy guy that could take care of their cars. And I don't know what it is about detailers. And another interesting thing I picked up on, I don't know if you had a passion for detailing before you started, or if you just had a passion to want to be your own boss. Me personally, I wanted to be my own boss, right?
It's a little bit of both.
And detailing was the vehicle and became a passion and all the things, but
Exactly.
but I think sometimes detailers will back into it of being so passionate about detailing, and then they forget about the business aspect of it. And it's
Yeah.
to try to convince someone that you're the best detailer is incredibly difficult,
Oh,
and probably not even worth it. And I used to use the example of like at SEMA, these detailers wanted to have like a buff off. And it was like, I'm probably the worst buffer. I don't know. Like, who cares? Right? Like, do my customers care if I'm like the best of the best? Probably not, as long as I could deliver for what they're looking for. Right. And it seems like you
and
nailed that.
I think you touched it on one of your many episodes where it's like us as detailers, I find out that in the beginning, we're too hard on ourselves. Well, we
100%.
need every spec, micro, dust out. 9 times out of 10, the client's not going to even see that. They just see that the car was filtered before and it's clean and it smells good right now. They're
Yep.
not going to, you have those anal clients, but, that's one out of 100,
Right.
but, it's like,
Most
we have to be
people,
easy on ourselves. Yeah, exactly.
100%.
A
Most
9
people
out of
aren't.
10 is acceptable. It don't have to be 11 out of 10 and, no squeak, no fingerprint at all, nothing, no, that,
Nailed
that's not
it.
going to make or break your business.
Nailed it. It's so funny. We really look at everything through the lens of our eyes, and it's like, well, we're a detail oriented person. Like, of course we see everything, but it's 99% of the people aren't going to see the little tiny piece of dust that you forgot under here. It's like, not, and don't get us wrong, we're not, for people listening, we're
Yeah,
not saying do a crap job,
a corner,
but don't
exactly.
be so hard on yourself. If the customer just wants a car wash, you don't need to be doing a 3-step paint correction because you're a nice guy. Like,
Exactly. And you're the best paint corrector out there.
yeah, it's like, save that for later. Save
There you
that for that 1 in 100 customers that actually are willing to pay for that and to do that. So no, I think those are all great tips, especially for people just starting out that are looking to break into it, people that want to break into dealing with pro athletes. I think that's a huge potential market, obviously, for especially when you're talking about posting on Instagram and social content to, for run of the mill clients, if they're saying, hey, if he's doing, this guy's car and that athlete trust him, it's almost like name your price to come do my car.
Exactly. That's kind of how when I was in Miami, that's how it kind of built. It was like, oh, you're doing my favorite athlete's car. He trusts you. Sure, come and do mine, and it just word of mouth just goes around, and everybody wants that tropical breeze experience.
Yep.
I made
nailed it.
Not a regular
Yes.
call. Hey, I can actually, get ready for work, leave my keys in my car outside. I don't have to worry about that. As soon as I'm ready to leave to go to work, the car is washed, clean, keys are back where I left it, and it's good
Yes.
to go.
You
That
nailed it. The
convenience.
experience, the convenience, the experience. And I think us as detailers too, we lost my train of thought, but we forget the overall experience of it. We hyper focus on the car and we forget every other aspect of it, So I
Yep.
love that. I feel like that's you really need to create that experience for your customer,
Yeah, you want to make sure you want to ask yourself, what am I doing different, or what am I offering, or why would they choose me other than ABC detail?
Yep.
And that's something the new detailers out there or the aspiring detailers need to ask themselves before they jump into it. Make yourself different.
Yep.
Pick a lane and that lane, whether it's the fast lane, the middle lane, or the slow lane. Be great at whatever lane you choose. So
Just pick it and keep moving
pick it.
forward.
Exactly.
I love that. Is there anything else you want to add? Any other stories, any other tips or tricks that you want to add for aspiring detailers, seasoned detailers? Anything
Um,
that you think you did differently or anything at all?
um, Probably the best advice is once you got the detail aspect of the business uh you know locked, always try to expand your services. I think that's probably the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Expand your services, um get into, try to be that one-stop shop. That's probably the biggest um advice I can give. And any stories. Ask me a question. I'm pretty sure.
Well, how
In
about this?
6 years,
Are you, now that you're doing I'll think of a question, but in the meantime, are you, now that you're doing tint and wrap and all that, do you have a shop? Are you still doing it mobily at the customer's garage?
so right now I'm doing it half and half out of my personal garage,
Okay.
and I'm still networking. I'm still trying to figure out who's who out here and who's doing the best work, and who's the, I don't want to say competition, but who's doing the same thing, who's in the industry. And I'm just trying to team up. At the end of the day, you realize real quick that you can't do it all,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to have a team and build a team. So
Yep.
I do shops, and I'm trying to just get business that way, where it's, hey, you need a detailer, hey, you need a tinter. I'm like a Swiss Army knife right now, and I can provide whatever service that they want to offer.
Love
So
that.
I'm being the general contractor, the
Yep.
contracted, I guess, one of those
Yes.
guys.
Totally. Was there ever a car that you did or a car of an athlete that because I'm assuming, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's the first time, but was there ever a car like maybe it was your favorite athlete or you were just like super nervous to do it or just like super
Okay.
excited to do it?
Um. So okay. So there's two stories there. One of them was my first time detailing a Ferrari. Uh, Jordan Phillips, he used to play for the Dolphins. Now he plays for the Arizona Cardinals. Defensive lineman. Uh, he says, "Hey, here's the keys. You can back it up and wash it out in the front." I said, "Back what up?" "Oh, you can back the car up." I'm like, "I'm sorry, don't laugh at me, but I don't know how to drive a Ferrari. Like,
Right.
I
Can you
don't
show me
know."
how?
He showed me how, and he sat in. And, He's 6'7", big guy. I don't know how he fit in the Ferrari, California. Sat in and said, "Hey, you do this, you press this, you let go of this, and you put it in reverse." And I'm like, "Oh, that's it. All right, thank you." And that NFL player taught me, who's 8 years younger than me, taught me how to drive a Ferrari. That's a
That is
pretty cool
so
story.
cool. That is
And
awesome.
first time really being starstruck was when I detailed and he's a good friend of mine now, Hassan Whiteside, the center that used to play for the Miami Heat. Now he plays for the Utah Jazz. I first got a call from his manager to come and detail some cars. And, Hassan Whiteside, I don't know if you might not be familiar with him, but back in the day, he used to always be on Snapchat and filming his quake fish. And, if you followed him, he's very public with, things that he has. So I go to his house. It's on South Beach, nice multi-million-dollar house. And I don't know who it is. I don't know whose car I'm detailing. I just know it's a Rolls Royce, it's a Range Rover, and there's a S-Class Mercedes Benz. And I'm like, oh, Rolls Royce. This is my first time doing a Rolls Royce. Oh man, okay.
How am I
And I'm
going to
just
back this
watching.
thing up?
Yeah, the Rolls Royce is much easier to drive.
Got
And
it.
you know that. So it's very self-explanatory. But I'm watching the cars and I see this huge sneakers, like size 20 sneakers. I'm like, this is a big dude, whoever's house I'm at. But this house looks familiar. And I see these koi fish in the car. I'm like, nah, it can't be a football player. I mean, it can't be a basketball player because they would have told me. And then, I'm watching the car and I see Miami Heat jerseys. And I look at the back and I see it's Hassan Whiteside. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. I'm actually doing a Heat player's car. And the Heat are my favorite team. And then like, it was like a dream. I look up, I see a big tower walking past, and he's like 7 foot tall. I'm like,
Oh
oh
my gosh.
wow, okay. And that's when I just got chilled. Like, oh, this is actually happening. This is like, I'm like, wow. I wouldn't say starstruck, just the fact that wow, I couldn't
Taken
imagine
back a
that.
little bit. Yeah.
Taken back a little bit, like I didn't know it was gonna happen this quick. And that's
Yep.
just a neat story, and it just trickles on and
Snowballed.
piles on. Everybody's we're all humans, and you get over that
Totally.
starstruck.
That's what I say too.
Sorry.
Sometimes cars, metal's metal, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But
And that's about
it
it.
seems like you don't lose sight of still offering that experience, though it becomes normal, which may be hard for some people to understand, but everything becomes normal,
Yeah,
at some point.
yeah.
So, but you still are able to deliver on that experience, which I think is super, super helpful. Man, this has
Super
been
helpful. Yeah.
amazing. You've really nailed out some gems out of this. You've really laid down what people can emulate and do, and made it feel so attainable. This is like I talked about at the beginning. This is why I love doing these. I'm encouraged by it. I hope it encourages you. Yeah,
Well,
go for it.
one other thing. I guess this
Yeah,
would probably be the best advice I can give, and you could probably give it too. You probably have given that plenty of times. You're going to have your ups. You're going to have your downs, and it sounds so cliche. Don't get too high. Don't get too low. But never give up.
yep,
Never give up. If this is what you want to do, go ahead and do it. The positives and negatives come in waves. Just keep going. Never give
keep
up.
going.
That's probably the best advice. Never give up.
Love that, man. Love that.
Yeah.